Welcome to Washington City, Utah. Considering a move to Washington City, Utah, this town is nestled right next to St. George, Utah, and it offers a unique blend of small town charm plus modern amenities. But is it the right fit for you? Stay tuned as we explore the top 5 pros and cons of living in Washington City, Utah. Plus, I'll add a bonus pro at the end that just might tip the scales in your favor for moving to Washington City, Utah. Today we're diving into the city of Washington City, Utah, just a stone's throw away from St. George, Utah. Right now it's known as a thriving, growing community. From its humble beginnings to just a few families in the late 1850s to over 37,000 people now, there are just so many options for new construction and shopping and dining in this beautiful community. So my pro number one is just the proximity to St. George. You still have the small town feel of Washington City with its 37,000 residents, but still being very close to a larger metropolitan area. The whole entire Washington County area is a little over 200,000 residents, but Washington City is a little bit smaller than that, of course, but it's so close to all that everything. You have all the modern amenities with all the shopping that you could need, plenty of big box stores, you know, the Costco's, Walmart's of the world, lots of dining and shopping close by. That's a real big amenity here, that's a big pro to living in Washington City. Is again, it's a smaller community, but close access to what the bigger cities offer. One of the things that's really nice, it does offer that quieter way of life. In fact, today I'm at the Virgin River Sports Soccer Complex here in Washington City. I have super fond memories of coming here and watching my oldest daughter and our club soccer team play in tournaments here at these fields behind me and winning those tournaments. They just provide a lot of great amenities for the community, beautiful parks, and city amenities. There's a beautiful walkway along the Virgin River just right over that way, so it's just a great place to be. Okay, let's jump into con number one, and that is the blazing hot summers. My goodness, it gets hot here. Now, if you've ever visited the Las Vegas area or the Phoenix area, you've experienced the same type of heat that you'll feel here in the Washington City area. You're going to have a lot of days that are approaching 110 degrees. You know that feeling when you open up your oven door and you get a blast of hot air in your face? That's what it feels like stepping outside here in the summertime. So the hottest parts of the summer definitely going to run from about May to September, and then it just really kicks up June to August. You can have almost 3 months straight of 100-degree plus weather. So just be prepared that you're going to have some sizzling hot summers here in Washington City. Pro number two, you just have a lot of options for housing down here in Washington City now. There's a lot of construction going on. Everywhere you go, there are new developments going up. So you've got options from high-end luxury, multi-million-dollar homes all the way down to starter townhomes that are still luxury and quite nice, and everything in between. So there's a lot of offerings when it comes to housing with all the construction and building going on in Washington City. And then again, it's also it's also an affordable city, relatively speaking, compared to other cities up along the Wasatch Front near the Salt Lake and Provo areas. The median home price, according to Zillow, is right around $500,000 here in Washington City, where it's closer to $600,000 up along the Wasatch Front. So relatively speaking, it is a more affordable city compared to other bigger cities in Utah. Okay, another con here is you're just going to have to deal with some of the growing pains because Washington City is growing so rapidly. Again, it's a little over 37,000 people. It wasn't even near that just 20 years ago. With all that construction, just bringing a little bit of stuff. It's going to bring more traffic than what it used to be. So just know you're also going to be dealing with construction delays as they improve the infrastructure, improve the roads coming in and out of the new developments in the cities. So not a huge con, but something you just need to be aware of. Pro number three, you just got to talk outdoor recreation, the access to the great outdoors here in Washington City. Of course, you're very close to Zion National Park, probably about an hour's drive to the entrance of Zion National Park here from Washington City. So you've got that close by, you know, a couple hour drive up to Bryce Canyon. So close access to some beautiful national parks that way. I'm going to say probably the north entrance of the Grand Canyon. It's probably about 2.5 to 3 hours from Washington City. So you've got three of the country's most beautiful national parks really close. But beyond that, people love to go out and recreate by hiking here in the mountains roundabout. There's all kinds of biking trails. Particularly, you see a lot of road bikers on these biking trails. People also like to use them to just hike and walk and jog and just hang out with their families on all these trails. So it's just a real big draw to Washington City, is just the access to the outdoor recreation. Now, included in that outdoor recreation here in the St. George metropolitan area, in the Washington County area, you've got access to three beautiful reservoirs. You've got the Sand Hollow Reservoir over in Hurricane, probably I'd say maybe 10 minutes from where I'm standing right here. What a beautiful reservoir, surrounded by all the red rocks and the red sands. Just a stark contrast with that blue water and the red sands. Probably the most popular of the reservoirs in the area. A lot of summertime activities with boating, water, wakeboarding on that lake. People love doing that. You also have the Quail Creek Reservoir nearby, and also there's the Gunlock Falls Reservoir. What a cool place that is, particularly the way they've designed it such that when you have a really heavy spring runoff, it lets the water roll right over the top of that and cascade down all the red rocks and creates all these beautiful swimming holes and amazing cascading waterfalls. You got to check that out when you're here in the springtime. All right, so that's it. You got just beautiful. Oh, I almost forgot. You're also about an hour up to the Cedar City area, just not that far to Penguins Lake, which has some beautiful trout fishing. There's also the Bryan Head Ski Resort up that way. What a beautiful ski resort that is. Also probably the most affordable ski resort in the entire state of Utah. I've actually seen fares as low as $19 to go skiing there. So absolutely unreal value for skiing. And that's a huge draw to living in Washington City. You have so much by way of outdoor recreation with the state parks, the national parks, just all the public lands that you can access and have fun on. Are you looking to purchase a home? I'd love for you to comment buyer's guide down below, and I'll show you what it looks like to purchase a home here in Utah from start to finish. I want to make sure you're comfortable with the entire process. We'll cover pre-approval, inspections, all the way to the closing table. By the time you're done watching this video, you'll know just as much as any real estate agent about purchasing a home. I'd be honored to be your realtor, so comment buyer's guide down below. All right, Washington City is in a desert. It gets hot here. There's not a whole lot of water. I'm right next to the Virgin River, probably one of the main water sources in this area. But just know, because of the water scarcity, there could be some water restrictions from time to time. There's definitely going to be water restrictions put in place on when you can water, particularly in the summertime. Usually you're not allowed to water during the daytime. The city's trying to maximize the effectiveness of your watering. If you water in the super hot part of the day, then you're just basically going to have all that water evaporate. So they'll put in some water restrictions to make sure that you're watering more in the nighttime, early morning hours, so it's more effective. So just know that there is some water scarcity because you do live in a desert. Another pro that I have is just the access to high quality health care here in the St. George area. The St. George Regional Hospital is the largest hospital in this area, and they provide excellent quality care. My personal experience with them is they actually saved my father's life. He ended up having a heart attack. I got him to the hospital in the middle of the night, ended up having quintuple bypass surgery, but that gave him 9 more years of life. One of the best heart surgeons in the entire state of Utah had just moved to the area and was running that cardiac program there at St. George, and so I credit them with saving my dad's life and giving him a lot of years to enjoy with his family. So you do have great quality access to health care in this region. Let's talk another con, and that is the job market. The St. George area is not a huge job market. You do have jobs in healthcare and in education. You do have Utah Tech, which provides some jobs, and of course the local school districts. But there's not a huge tech sector or some of those other types of jobs in this region. A lot of those jobs are going to be more in northern Utah, along the Silicon Slopes area in Lehi and the Draper area. Perhaps there's opportunities from work from homes, a lot of retail jobs here. You do have, again, I said, like healthcare jobs, but There's not lots of different industries in this area. It's a bit limited when it comes to employment opportunities. Okay, my final pro is just the mild winter weather. It is absolutely amazing. Now, I'm here March 18th, and they're having a spring storm, so we've got overcast skies. It's a little bit colder, but overall the winters here are absolutely amazing. A lot of people from the Wasatch Front up in the Salt Lake area, they move down here, they retire here or move here because they get tired of moving all the snow, and they enjoy being here where they don't really have a lot of snow that accumulates on the ground. You've got fantastic winter weather, just a really mild winter usually here. Oftentimes temperatures in the 60 to 70 degree range in the winter time, where up in the Wasatch Front you'll probably be 30 or 40 degrees. So mild winters is a huge pro for a lot of people choosing to call Washington City home. All right, my final con, again, not a huge deal, but when it comes to like entertainment, things like that, there's not a ton of that here in the St. George market. It's a pretty quiet community. All the communities are fairly quiet. If you want to have the big time entertainment, well, you're probably going to drive about an hour and a half south down to Las Vegas, where you'll have a lot more options to be able to attend stuff like a professional football game, National Hockey League games. You got all the different concerts going on down that way. A lot of those things, of course, aren't taking place here because it's just a smaller venue. Of course, when it comes to the state of Utah, a lot of the bigger sporting events are also up in the Salt Lake area. That's where you'll find the Utah Jazz, the Utah Hockey Club, the Real Salt Lake soccer team. So all that's more north of here. And of course, when it comes to the bigger time college athletics, that's also located more in the northern parts of Utah with the University of Utah and Brigham Young University of Utah. Again, you do have Utah Tech, which does have college athletics, but they play in a much smaller conference than those other schools do. Okay, I promised you the bonus pro, and that is the St. George area, this whole entire metro area, including Washington City. It is a golfer's paradise. There are so many beautiful golf courses located in and around the St. George area. Let me just list some of those. In the St. George area, you've got Sunbrook Golf Course, the St. George Golf Club, you've got Dixie Red Hills Golf Course, you have the Legends Golf Club here in Washington City, you've got the Green Springs Golf Course and the Coral Canyon Golf Club. In Hurricane, you have the Sand Hollow Resort Golf Club, the Copper Rock Golf Course, and the Sky Mountain Golf Course, which I'm going to golf a little bit later this afternoon. In Ivins, you have the Black Desert Golf Course, Santa Clara, or in Bloomington, you got the Bloomington Country Club. So if you are into golfing, and a lot of people are, people move here, they come here just to experience the incredible golfing that you can have year-round here in Washington City and the St. George metro area. So there you have it. There's my 5 pros and cons. Would you move to Washington City, Utah? Make a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Again, if you're thinking of relocating to this area and just want to know more about this market, reach out to me just like so many others have. I'd absolutely love to help you. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Remember, I'm Scott Walters with Best US Realty. I am your Utah YouTubing realtor. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap on the notification bell so you can stay current every time I drop another video about living in Utah. And if you found this video helpful, you might also enjoy my pros and cons video about St. George, and you can watch that by clicking on somewhere up here. Or if you want to know more about the Hurricane area, go check out my Hurricane pros and cons video, and you can also watch that by clicking on somewhere up here. And with that, we will see you on the next video.